When we hear the name Van Gogh, most of us think of a famous painter. Now, although the Van Gogh in this next feature doesn't exactly paint, he has become a masterpiece on the racetrack.
We went to the New Jersey Classic when he was selling as a yearling, and bought him. And there was some friends of mine that were going to bid on him. And at the time, his brother we had was racing real good. He won some invitationals and some sire stakes. And we kind of wanted to go up and look at the colt. And Phil the Framboys was looking at him, and he was sitting right next to me. And he said, maybe I'll bid on that colt. And I said, well, I'm going to buy him. And he was a small little guy with a pot belly, and his hair was kind of long. He wasn't groomed very good, and not nearly as big as a lot of the ones selling at the sale, but I had the brother was racing real good, so I took a shot and I bought him for $4,500.
After breaking JM Vangogh to race, Paul, who lives in Harrington, Delaware, and is stabled on Delmarva, sent him up to Canadian horseman Ron Waples for his freshman season to compete in the Ontario Sire Stakes.
So we raced him in the elimination. He was third, raced real good, more than we expected. And the next week we come back in the elimination in the final for $130,000. He raced good. He was going to be third or fourth, and he got about 50 to 75 feet from the wire, finished in the race, and was trotting down the stretch strong. And he reached up and caught his trotting hobble and fell down and took the top off his knee didn't right into the joint, and really took the top right off his ankle. We saw the accident at Harrington. We were watching on the off track, and didn't know what happened. I didn't know if he broke a leg. And I called Ron, and he said the horse was cut up pretty bad. He said he doesn't know just how bad, but the vets are looking at him. And we called him back afterwards, and he told us what the vet had thought about the injuries, and it looked pretty bad. But anyway, that ended his career as a 2-year-old, and we didn't really know if he'd come back, and we were really kind of disappointed.
Paul may have been disappointed, but refused to be discouraged. Although this was a potentially career-ending injury, Paul and his wife Wilma didn't give up hope and recruited the help of their favorite horse therapist.
My daughter Colleen trains horses here in Delaware, and she did some therapy on him and nursed him back to health, and we brought him in, and his leg was healed up. You could still see the severe scars and quite a big lump on the front of his knee and his ankle. But he trained back, and we swam him and trained him and swam him and jogged him, did the whole thing on him.
With lots of TLC and a colorful attitude, it looked like JM Vangogh was coming closer to painting a portrait of success.
He's a real active colt. He's not mean, but he's full of the devil and just right full of it. He eats everything you put in front of him. If he doesn't eat, you know there's something wrong. You can jog him 5 miles and he still plays the whole time. You can take him out and train him and he still zigzags all over the track. And he always jumps up in the air and stomps his front feet down. And every day he jogs, he does that, even now. But the third day I jogged him back last year, he went up in the air, and when he did, he came down and stumbled and took the scab right off his knee. So I said, "Oh boy, this is going to be a long year."
2003 could have been described as a long year for JM Vangogh, but there were plenty of other adjectives more fitting. How about prosperous or outstanding? But who knew when the high stepper was initially sent back up to Ron Waples for his 3-year-old season? During his first few sophomore starts, the son of Earl looked like he would hold his own up north, but then this comeback kid trotted beyond anyone's expectations and set the country of Canada on fire.
He got his record of 54 and change. He was parked at the 3/4 pole, and he got into the 3-hole around the last turn, and then he had to come 3 wide down the stretch and flew down the stretch and trotted to 54 and change. And we were kind of impressed. He really looked like he was going to be somebody then. We had a pretty good year. Our year didn't start off that good last year. We kind of wondered which way we were going to go, and it made a real good year for us.
JM Vangogh, who Paul owns with longtime friend John Mello from Massachusetts, ended the year as the king of the Ontario Sire Stakes program, winning more money than any other horse in the 3-year-old trotting colt division. He never missed the board in any of his 11 Ontario Sire Stakes starts, including 2 $130,000 gold finals. Overall for the season, he competed 18 times with 9 wins, 3 seconds, 5 thirds, just shy of $420,000 in Canadian money earnings for the year. He even beat Hambletonian winner Amigo Hall twice. Those accomplishments earned the stallion a nomination for the prestigious O'Brien Award in Canada for his division.
JM Vangogh making it look like a walk in the park. It's all JM Vangogh, an easy win with Ron Waples.
Along with trainer-driver Ron Waples, Paul says JM Vangogh couldn't have made such a comeback without the help of his 2 leading ladies.
My wife's done a lot of work. Wilma, she's in charge of the operation. She gives all the orders, and I sit back and listen. And Colleen did a great job getting them back for his 3-year-old year with the therapy and all the rest of the work she did on him.
But of course, Paul is willing to not only share in the work, but in the rewards as well.
We've had a devil of a good year. Had a lot of fun, some nice trophies, and lots of memories.